Gather close, dear listener, and let me draw you into a world where truth is a fleeting shadow, where the mind bends under the weight of secrets too vast to hold. This is no gentle tale, no lullaby to soothe your soul. It is a story of betrayal, of minds unraveled, of a woman who dared to chase the light only to find darkness waiting. Her name was Emma Carter, a journalist with a fire in her heart, a woman whose life was shaped by a single, unshakable question. Why did her father die? In the answer to that question lies a truth so dangerous it could shatter the very fabric of reality. Listen, for I will tell you of Emma's journey into the heart of a conspiracy, where the ghosts of MKUltra still whisper, and where the line between truth and illusion vanishes like mist. Our tale begins in the restless heart of Brooklyn, on a night when the rain fell like tears from a grieving sky. Emma Carter sat alone in her apartment, a cluttered sanctuary of papers and dreams, her desk a battlefield of notes and half-finished truths. She was 30, with eyes that saw too much and a heart that refused to forget. Her father, Dr. Samuel Carter, had been a psychiatrist, a man of quiet wisdom whose life ended in a plunge from a bridge into the cold embrace of the Hudson. The world called it suicide, but Emma knew better. Her father was not a man to break. Something had broken him, something hidden, something stolen. And on this night, as the city hummed with secrets, a package slipped beneath her door, unbidden, unmarked, heavy with the weight of destiny. Inside that package was a file, its pages brittle as old bones, its words a litany of horrors. MKUltra, it whispered, a name that carried the chill of history. The file spoke of experiments, of minds twisted by drugs and whispers, of men and women turned into puppets for the CIA's grand design. LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, all tools in a game of control, played in the shadows of the Cold War. But there was more, far more. A name, scrawled in her father's trembling hand. Voss, Dr. Henry Voss, a scientist whose shadow loomed over the pages, a man who had worked with her father in those dark days. And at the file's end, a warning, stark and cold. They never stopped. They're still watching. Oh, how Emma's pulse quickened as she read those words. She felt the gaze of unseen eyes, the press of a truth too vast to grasp. She was no fool, but neither was she a coward. She called her friend Lila Monroe, a programmer whose mind was a blade cutting through the digital fog of the modern world. Lila arrived, her eyes alight with curiosity, her laptop a shield against the unknown. Together, they pored over the file, decoding its cryptic references. MKUltra, they learned, was not a relic, but a seed, one that had grown into something new, something alive. ECHELON-7, the file called it, a program reborn, its tendrils reaching into the present, manipulating minds not with needles, but with signals, with screens, with the very air we breathe. Emma's quest for truth began with Voss. The file pointed to Havenridge, a private clinic in the misty hills of upstate New York, where Voss now hid behind a mask of respectability. The drive was long, the road winding through forests that seemed to whisper warnings. Emma's dreams had grown strange in the days since the file's arrival. Flashes of her father, his face contorted in fear, his voice pleading words she could not hear. Were these memories, or something else? Something planted? Havenridge loomed ahead, a fortress of glass and steel, its halls too quiet, its air thick with secrets. Dr. Henry Voss greeted her with a smile that was all teeth, no warmth. He was 50, his hair silver, his voice smooth as a serpent's hiss, but there was a coldness to him, a calculation that made Emma's skin crawl. She asked about her father, about MKUltra, about the file. Voss laughed, a sound like shattering glass, and called her questions the fantasies of a grieving daughter. But his eyes betrayed him. There was fear there, and something darker, something that knew her name. As Emma left, she saw a figure in a window, a man in a dark suit, his face a blur. The noose was tightening, though she could not yet see its shape. Back in the city, Emma and Lila dug deeper. Lila's fingers danced across her keyboard, cracking encrypted files from the dark web, unearthing fragments of ECHELON-7. Test subjects, new drugs, subliminal signals embedded in advertisements, in music, in the flicker of a screen. The truth was monstrous. Not just the government, but corporations, media giants, all complicit in a new era of control. They shaped desires, erased dissent, rewrote thoughts. But the deeper Emma went, the more her world unraveled. Shadows moved in her peripheral vision. Voices whispered her name in the dead of night. Her memories of her father grew distorted. His smile became a scream, his words a warning. Lila, too, felt the weight of surveillance, her systems glitching, her screens flickering with eyes that were not there. One night, Emma awoke to chaos. Her apartment was a ruin, papers scattered, the file gone. But its words were burned into her mind, and Voss's name was a beacon in the dark. She returned to Havenridge, this time under cover of night, slipping into the clinic's underbelly. In a locked room, she found records, hundreds of names, her father's among them, marked as terminated, and then a video, grainy but unmistakable. Her father, strapped to a chair, his eyes wild as Voss injected him with a glowing serum. "You'll forget," Voss's voice said, cold and final. "You'll forget everything." Emma's scream was silent, but her resolve was iron. She would not forget. The truth, dear listener, is a predator, and Emma was now its prey. Agent Marcus Reed, a man whose loyalty was to power alone, was sent to silence her. He was a shadow in a suit, his smile a blade, his words a poison. He found her in a diner, her hands trembling around a coffee cup. "Stop looking, Miss Carter," he said, his voice low as a grave, "or you'll end up like your father." But Emma was no longer just a journalist. She was a warrior, forged in grief and truth. She fled, her heart a drumbeat, her mind racing. Was Reed part of ECHELON-7? Was Voss? And why did her own memories feel like lies? The answers came in a safe house, a crumbling warehouse where Lila uncovered a truth that cut deeper than any blade. Emma's name was on the list of ECHELON-7's subjects. Her dreams, her doubts, her fears, they were not her own, but the work of those who sought to control her. Lila, ever loyal, devised a plan: hack into ECHELON-7's servers, expose their secrets to the world. But the cost was steep. Reed's agents closed in, their footsteps a drumbeat of doom. Emma's mind was a battlefield, her memories a maze. She saw her father in every shadow, heard his voice in every whisper, but she could not trust what she saw, what she felt. The final act unfolded at Havenridge, where Emma returned, Lila's tech, her only ally. The clinic was a labyrinth of mirrors and lies, each corridor a test of her will. She confronted Voss in his office, his face pale, his hands trembling. "You don't understand," he whispered. "They control everything, your thoughts, your fears, your truth." But Emma was done with fear. She uploaded Lila's virus, a digital scream that broadcast ECHELON-7's secrets to every screen, every device, every corner of the world. The truth was free, but freedom came at a price. Reed caught her as she fled, his gun cold against her temple. "You think you've won?" he sneered. But Emma smiled, a smile born of defiance. "The world knows now," she said. "You can't hide forever." The shot never came. Lila's virus triggered alarms, drawing the authorities. Reed vanished into the night, but Emma knew he was not gone for good. She returned to her apartment, the city alive with the buzz of her revelation. The truth was out, but her mind was no longer her own. The shadows lingered, whispering doubts, and Emma wondered, had she truly escaped, or was she still a puppet, dancing on strings she could not see? And so, dear listener, the tale of Emma Carter ends not with triumph, but with a question. What is truth when the mind itself can be rewritten? The shadows of MKUltra, of ECHELON-7, stretch far beyond these words, into the corners of our world, our thoughts, our fears. Beware, for the truth is a flame. It illuminates, but it also burns. Will you seek it, as Emma did, or will you turn away, safe in the comfort of lies? The choice is yours, but the shadows are watching.